Welcome to the Big Fat Real Estate Checks podcast with Marco Kozlowski, where we help investors like you get the knowledge and skills you need to replace your JOB with passive cash flow for life.
Hey everyone, welcome to Big Fat Real Estate Checks. I'm your host, Francesco Galluccio, and no, that's actually not me. I'm actually Gabriel Araish.
You wish, buddy.
No, actually, that's not me either. Who the hell am I? Oh yeah, Marco Kozlowski. Ha, 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 ha. And we're here today to talk about how we can all improve through negative feedback loops. Making mistakes is actually a fantastic thing. And thank you for joining us today. And I'm joined with my two compadres, brothers from another mother, the sisters I never wish I had, Frank and Gabe.
Yeah.
And it's all about making mistakes and being okay with it. And that's one of the reasons I actually love wearing the Muppet shirts, is Muppets are always doing whatever they can. They do what they're passionate about. They're terrible at it. They blow shit up.
They're okay.
But it works.
And they're okay with it.
And it works. They're authentically doing what they do. And they, learn from their mistakes and improve, just like everything else in life. And making mistakes is something that I think is, we might have discussed or brushed on a previous podcast, but would like to do today is focus on negative feedback loops. And what that means is us remembering, all right, that when we first started doing anything, we were terrible at it, like really, really, really bad at it, right? So when you're a baby, like I see Freya, my granddaughter, and she's trying to grab something, like her hand is going all over the place. Like she's trying to figure out she's like focusing on the muscles in order to learn how to grab something. And the number of times that she has missed has greatly exceeded the almost half a time that because she's still very young, that she's almost gotten it. But every time she gets closer, her brain goes, okay, you're closer, you're closer, you're closer. And through the making of the mistakes and the negative feedback loops that we get, we are able to do the thing that we want to do. And now if you want to grab a bottle or you want to grab something, like if Frank wants to grab a beer, he doesn't think, okay, my bicep has to move at this power, my tricep has to move at this power, my hand stabilizer muscle has to do this and this and that. I don't know if that even exists as a muscle, so please don't send me emails. I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV. But we're doing it subconsciously. We don't even try. It just happens because we've mastered that skill. It's now in our subconscious. So we become subconsciously very good at doing things. We don't consciously get in the car and drive anymore, although when we first started driving, we're swerving all over the place, we're looking in the wrong direction, we want to go right, we look left. Like we do some things that are necessary in order for us to learn. And I find it very interesting as people learn a new skill like real estate and buying assets that allow you to really never have to work again, which is how we all got here. Is we have purchased assets, hotels, mobile home parks, multifamilies, single families, whatever, assisted living facilities, whatever the asset class is that can be managed by other people, because I would rather be back with both my ex-wives strapped to a chair than manage tenants. Never going to happen. And that would be the ultimate negative feedback loop, actually, where we do things, right, and we do things incorrectly, and that's all we can focus on. And if you think about anything that you're really good at, you've probably failed at it many more times. English is not my first language. Many more times than you've gotten. Exactly. So we don't call you the guy that can't grab a rattle, right?
Never been called that, no.
Yeah.
I know. We don't call you the guy that, swerved all over the place while he was learning how to drive, or the gal. We don't call you the gal that couldn't play that piano piece for months so you finally could get it right. We're not focusing on the negative, we're focusing on the achievement, right? And in order to have the achievement, you have to not do it well thousands of times before you do it well, perfectly, or if that's even possible, right? So I find it fascinating that when people make a mistake, That's all they can focus on. I did this many years ago and I screwed it up, and that's the focus. And if you're focusing on that negative feedback mechanism that's vital, you have to get it wrong in order to get it right. Like if if I don't play golf, but I know golfers are obsessed with golf.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't want to play golf, because I have an addictive personality. Like if I do something and I like it, I'm addicted to it. And that's just for the rest of my life. So I have to be very careful as to what I get into. So golf, if I started golf, I just know that the only way to get really good at golf and to actually master golf is to play the least amount of golf.
Correct. Yeah, sure.
Makes no sense to me, right?
That's right.
The person that plays the least golf is the best, right?
Yeah, it's true.
But you have to play a lot of golf to play the least amount of golf.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
The lowest
that was
score
a-
wins for those
That's
who
a
don't
mind fuck
understand
right
that.
there. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
mind.
Yeah,
Isn't that neat?
That is neat.
it is.
Yeah. I tell the story of the cheetah at one of our events. This cheetah is chasing a gazelle, right? And the cheetah is running for its
Food. It's meal.
life,
Life, yeah, basically.
right? It's running for its life. What's the gazelle doing?
Same thing.
Running for its life. They're both running for different reasons, right? Either so one is running towards something
One's running away.
and one is running away from something, right? Who has the control?
The one
Running
that's running
to.
towards.
Exactly. The person that's, or I say person, we're all cheetahs at the end of the day, the cheetah that's running towards, so you want to be running towards something, not away from something, because then you're just a gazelle that's literally running just to save its life, just running to run, and not going where it necessarily needs to go. It'll run in any direction so it saves its life. And a lot of us are doing that constantly, just running, not realizing that there's no cheetah behind us. You are the cheetah. Like, what the hell's going on here, right? So what we're going to be also, so I'm not done. From there, right, we have the cheetah that's running for its life to eat this gazelle because it's starving. It needs to eat. If it doesn't eat, it's going to die. And if you've ever watched a nature show, National Geographic, or whatever is on TV, there's thousands of channels now. When I was growing up, it was like one, right? Mm-hmm. And I was a remote control for my dad. But that's another story for another day, right? Hey, change the channel, son, now. All right. So as the cheetah instantly realizes that gazelle is no longer going to be catchable, the second that there's a distance that's created where they know, okay, I'm not going to catch that that gazelle, what does the cheetah do? Instantly.
Stops.
It stops.
Why?
Save energy.
Yep. Left to fight another day.
You mean it doesn't go, motherfucker, that was the best gazelle I've ever seen. I can't believe I missed that gazelle. It was the greatest gazelle I've ever had. I can't believe it. It was like that gazelle of 76. Man, that was a good gazelle. And it takes all this energy.
Well, if it does, it's got a good poker face.
And it just shits on itself about not catching that gazelle that it almost got. Does it do that? If you look at what a cheetah does, what does it do? It stops immediately. Does it look like upset?
No.
Does it look disturbed? Does it look annoyed? What does it do?
I don't know. I cut my National Geographic channel a long time ago.
It's not.
I think it just like it's
it just
nothing.
walks away.
Actually, it walks away and meets up with
It's like-
the other cheetahs and sits down.
It's literally
Yeah.
it's patting itself, on itself. It says no fucks given. I'm fresh out of fucks. It just doesn't care, right? It doesn't care.
Yeah.
But why? Because any energy that it focuses on what it missed is a death sentence. Because it takes a lot of energy to get to that. It's hungry. It's still hungry. It's actually more hungry now because it had all this energy that it used up, and it doesn't eat, it dies, right? Eventually, it'll either catch something or it doesn't. So reason I'm saying the story is it doesn't focus and shit on itself for the negative feedback loop that it just got. What did it learn from that? It probably is thinking, what could I have done better? Because it has to. it's instantly stopping, and it's like it puts its head down, and its head bobs back and forth. It's most likely thinking, how could I have caught that gazelle? Was it the best gazelle? Was it the sickest gazelle? Was it the weakest gazelle? Did I pick the wrong gazelle? What can I learn from this moment? Because the next time I do this, I might not have the energy to catch another gazelle, and I will die. So it has to learn immediately what to do next. And if we approach life in the same way, where we're not obsessing over all the mistakes that we've made, Frank isn't the one. We don't call Frank, hey, this is the guy that fired the government, that quit from the government. We don't call Gabe, hey, this is the guy that, walked away from a senior position at KPMG and a high position at, a Securities Exchange Commission, Canadian version, Quebec version. We don't talk about the things that he walked away from, right? We talk about the achievements that we've had. And we're sometimes so laser focused on the negative that we lose sight as to what's awesome and what we're learning from that. So that's kind of the topic of discussion for today. So that was me talking for a while.
That was the
here, so I'm gonna
intro.
shut the hell up. Yeah, that was just the intro. That's not the end, man.
No, it's a good story, and it is a little bit of a mind fuck too. But I know you always say, again, our failures, we learn from our failures, and that's the course correction that you're doing. And I know you always say, you had that saying, shoot then aim. And I had a privilege to talk to someone that was in the military, and actually I forgot to tell you this. This is at one of the events. And he was saying, he was in charge of the itinerary, and every time he shoots a round of 20, right? So just say they have a target in mind, they shoot a round of 20, the 20th shot is not actually a shot. It's a marker. So they know where they're missing. So they're shooting. The 20th shot every time is a marker, so it adjusts to hit the target. So every shot it takes, right? Every missile or whatever it shoots, bullets, whatever, every 20th is a marker. So it's shooting in the air, it's shooting for its target, it's shooting. The 20th is saying, okay, I'm over here, let me course adjust because the target's over here. If that makes any sense. So
Interesting.
it goes back to what you were saying. You always said shoot then aim, right? It's always about shoot and then you aim. So you keep shooting, looking at your failures on your shots. You're like, all right, let me course correct. The same thing with your granddaughter. She's aiming, she's missing. Exactly. Yeah, calibrate. That's it. So yeah, it makes sense, but people don't think of it that way because people just think of the negative, right? And bringing something from your conscious mind to eventually your subconscious, where it's second nature that you're doing things, that's a good thing, right? When it comes second nature to do things.
Being aware of us focusing on the negative, because we're the species that focuses that punishes themselves more than one time for a mistake.
And we're all guilty of it. Like, I mean, it's, and the more you were talking about that story, the more I started thinking or looking back at things. But even when, you get upset in general, whether it's with, a situation, whether it's with your children, whether it's with your friends, it's all expended energy that's not going to solve anything anyways. In fact, it's probably making things worse. But weirdly, it's kind of what we default to, if it makes any sense here. It's your default option, which you have to start, I guess, reverse engineering it. You got to remove that, then make your default something else, which is just, becoming the cheetah, where just, oh, well, next time.
What'd you learn?
Yeah.
Right? What'd you learn? I want to touch on the missile thing for a second. So when a missile is launched, a heat-seeking missile that's intercepting another missile, that one missile is moving, right? And the other missile is also moving. There's wind, rotation of the Earth. Unless you're a flat earther, then there's no rotation. Another conversation for another day, right? Where there's constantly shifts that are happening, right? So do you know how many times there's a course correction on a heat-seeking missile to intercept another missile before it hits its target?
I don't know.
Because there's two functions. There's two servos that are happening, right? There's one that's, this is where you're going. And there's laser focus, because our brain can only focus on one thing at a time. It's either looking for something or solving a problem. That's it. It can't look for something and solve a problem at the same time. So there's one mechanism in this heat-seeking missile this is always on the target, that's telling the other servo, adjust. So do you think when it launches, it's immediately going in the right direction. It's never going to course correct. Any idea how many times it has to course correct before it hits its target?
No, tons. It has to. I mean, it's heat seeking, right?
Tens of thousands. Tens of
I've
thousands.
seen Top Gun. I never counted, but yeah.
Right. And you know what I mean? Like it'll go back and like it's always like
it's all over the place.
So do we call the heat seeking missile the missile that misses most of the time until it hits its like it's like this is the course you did 196,000 course corrections. What the hell? But I hit my target. But you did 196 course corrections. Do that less. No, you have to do it that way. You're always course correcting. In fact, if you're not off course, you can't get back on course. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not on course, it has to do a better course. Because if it was on the same course and there was a movement, it would miss 100% of the time. You have to course correct, right? You have to go through these learning curves, these learning opportunities, wobbling on a bicycle. Like when you were on a when you were a kid wanting to learn a bike, ride a bike, do you know anybody that hopped on a bike and did it perfect the first time? I don't.
No.
You fell, you scraped your knee, all your friends are riding around and like, you're like, fuck this, I'm going to ride a bicycle. If I fall, I don't care, I don't cry. If it hurts, it doesn't matter, I'm going to get up because I'm so focused on not riding a bicycle. Like, I am going to ride this bike if it kills me. And you'll do that. And you'll be so focused as a kid, you won't give a shit what happens around you because that's the goal and you achieve it. So if you can ride a bicycle, you can do anything.
For the record, I cry.
In fact, oh, okay. Well, that's because you're Frank. You cry when you don't eat every 3 hours.
All right.
But, yeah.
But, well, people are stuck in that loop. That's the thing. They do more of what's wrong, thinking that that's what the solution is. Doing more of what's not working is not going to help you.
So I'm unhappy in my life, for example, so I'm going to keep doing what I'm unhappy with. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that was the government. No shit, that was the government. Every morning when I walked in, I got out of it. But that's every morning I walked in, elevator, just say Gabe was there. He didn't work for the government, but hey, Gabe, how's it going? Oh, fuck this place, man. Another, 6 years, 2 weeks, and 55 hours to go, whatever. They're miserable, but they're doing it, right? They're just doing the same, but they're miserable.
Because they got comfortable doing that as opposed to wanting to be uncomfortable, right?
I think it's also fear.
Well, that's it.
That's
being comfortable is a direct relationship to fear of change, right?
Yeah. People don't like
Who
change.
Moved My Cheese? Highly recommend that. Who Moved My Cheese? If you haven't read Who Moved My Cheese, it talks about fear, being comfortable, being comfortable. Being comfortable is a terrible place to be, right?
It's dangerous,
and it's going to kill you because the world is constantly changing. And are you really changing as fast as the world is? Think about that. And also, what kind of raises were you getting in the government, Frank? Like, I've never worked for somebody else. So
that's a valid question. You know what? On average, I already dictated what you would earn in 10 years if I was still there.
But on average,
is it per year? It's about between 2 and
every year, every 3 years.
No, every year is about every time we do a collective agreement. Every 3 years, they give about a 2% modest increase, so 6% over 3 years.
Oh, so
sometimes there was a few times they gave us 0, and they said you're going to like it.
Of course,
they did 0
because you're going to keep your
job.
So
2 would be
on
the high point if they do 2, 2, and 2. Sometimes they'll do like 1.5, and then a 2, right? But pretty much.
And what's inflation? Is it more than 1.5 and 2? It's
yeah, you're not meeting up inflation.
You will never, your paycheck will never catch up to inflation, because if you look at what a minimum wage job was when my parents were around, you could actually buy a house.
That's right.
On minimum wage.
You're right.
That's right.
You could have a family on minimum wage. You could earn a living and take care of your kids
on one minimum wage.
With one
worker.
family, because someone has to stay home and take care of the kids. It's the most important job in the world, whether it's man or woman. It's not about that conversation. Someone should take care of the kids. It's important to be there for your children, right? Okay, so one person working at minimum wage can take care of their family, buy a house, have a car, have savings, and retire.
Not crazy.
On minimum wage.
Yeah.
How about now? Can you do that now?
Now you need both people working with 6 figures.
With 2 jobs each. That's 4 combined.
You need your kids to work in order,
it's crazy.
And an OnlyFans on the side. You got to have all this crap going on.
All right, so you guys are not the only ones who did this. All right, just want to make sure it wasn't alone.
Now, I didn't want to let Frank know that I knew about his OnlyFans. He has a foot
That's
thing
right.
going on. I
Yeah,
know
he's showing his
yeah.
hairy feet.
Yeah, it's like Bilbo feet.
But to that point,
My precious.
to that point,
My
I think
precious.
there's more people realizing that they're like, hold on a second, I can't get that. I can't get that house. Basically, staying where I'm at, getting that job is no longer their first option, and most default to it because they feel they have no other options, or they're fearful of again the unknown, being uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
if you wanted to take that
And-
plunge, like you said before, you got one life, make the best out of it. Now's the best time to do it, and I'm glad I did it 10 years ago, buddy. 10 years ago.
You made a decision
2014,
for your future, and
2014.
here we are today, right?
Yeah.
And just one more comment on this, and then we both have to go. We have classes coming up. If you're driving, it's a perfect example. You have a rear view mirror to look at your past. If you focus on your rear view mirror going 100 kilometers, 100 miles an hour, what's going to happen? You're going to crash. You have your windshield, so you can see what's cooking. You got your GPS to tell you if you're on or off track. But hang on a second, you also have a speedometer to tell you how fast you're going and what the speed limit is. Slow down over here, buddy. It's dangerous. You could hurt other people or yourself. Okay, you can go fast now. Now, what if we took the speedometer out of there? Now what? Hey, you got to get to where you're going within a certain period of time. But if you go too fast, you're going to kill yourself or other people. That's going to happen without the negative feedback loop. You have to know if you're going too fast, you're going too slow. The GPS, wrong direction, right direction, all those are feedback loops to see if you're going on the right path. And they're necessary in order for you to go to your future destination. So if you're thinking that everything has to be easy, no. If you think everything you have to earn something in order to get something, that's how God made it. If on the last podcast that we just did, if you're making a human being, you want it to go through hard, difficult things in order for it to be strong, for it to have the negative feedback loop repetitions, for it to know what to do next. The only reason you're good at something is because you failed at it more than you got good at it. You're playing less golf than everyone else because you played more golf than everyone else. Wrong, right? You did it more incorrectly than you did correctly, and that's why you're good at it. Why I'm here today is because I've screwed up, lost more money, and made more mistakes, and had tenants that said, nope, I'm going to stay now. I've been here for 30 days in my hotel room. Like I told Frank, don't go past 30 days because it's going to happen because I've already made this mistake.
Yeah.
Remember those days?
I
Remember that?
remember that.
I remember that.
I said-
it's like you talked
I
to
said-
them. It's like, wait a sec. I
And
just
it
heard
happened,
this. It happened immediately. It was within that same week or 2 weeks.
because I told you this is what's going to happen because I've already seen,
That movie.
I've made more mistakes than anyone else. So I have the ability to share my mistakes with others where you don't have to learn the lesson yourself. That's called wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So listen to wise people that are wanting to give you what you should have earned to begin with. So you can earn it with experience or you can earn it with a check. What's faster?
Always.
That's up to you to decide.
Money's always
Well, what's
faster
better?
than money.
Sure. You got a full time.
School of Hard Knocks. School of Hard Knocks is the most expensive school of all time. 100%. It took him less than 10 years. It took you 6 years
Well,
to
3
achieve
years
what I had to do in 25.
3 years to get my first hotel.
Yeah. Well, 3 years to achieve what it took me 20
Yep.
some years. Yeah. You did it as with Gabe and everyone else that actually listens and follows the steps. And just so you guys understand, if you know where you're going and you behave in the right direction, there's absolutely no possibility, no chance, impossible to fail, to not achieve where you want to be. Because your behavior creates a byproduct or a consequence of the result. So if I behave a certain way, the behavior is going to result in a certain thing. So if you behave some way, you're going to result in either success, which is measured in how many times you failed, right? With the experience that you got, right? And I find it interesting, the word behavior by itself, right? Or consequence by itself. I'm going to say consequence. The only time I've heard the word consequence used in a positive way, which I use constantly because there's consequences to our behaviors, but not in a bad way, in a good way, is in prison. What's the consequence of having good behavior for 25 years? What's the
Good-
consequence?
Good behavior.
If you're since for 25 years, yeah, you're
What's
the
release,
consequence?
or
You
you
get-
get
you
different
get
early-
privileges.
early
yeah.
retirement.
You get to live.
Yeah.
You have a better life by behaving well. You have a better life. It's the only example in that I can find where there's a consequence that's used in a positive way, because it's been designed to be negative, but they can't get away from that one. Whoever they are, right?
Yeah.
Remember that.
Mhm.
Your result is a consequence of a certain behavior, and that could be good. It could be bad. That's your choice.
Well put.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you both.
Yeah,
Likewise.
it's good.
Really, really do. It was fun. And thank you, listener. Again, the Big Fat Real Estate Checks. Like us, love us, share us, comment. Tell us what we can do better. Tell us what we can do worse. I don't know. Just tell us something. We want to hear from somebody. Please, is anyone here? Please listen. Actually, we've very blessed with some phenomenal reviews. Appreciate you very much. And yeah, keep on tuning in. Keep on doing what you got to do in order to have be the best version of yourself, and screw up. Have fun doing it. Be authentic. One life. Make it count. Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic day and a fantastic life. Bye for now.
If you like this episode of Big Fat Real Estate Checks, let's show some love by leaving a comment and a good rating. Also, as a thank you for tuning in today, we've got a special free gift. The journey to passive cash flow for a life starts by finding deals, and it's easier than you think. Simply go to getdealsbytuesday.com, enter your email address, and we'll send you a free quick start course called Deals by Tuesday. Even if it's 11 p.m. Monday night, this course will show you how to find discounted real estate deals by Tuesday. It's that fast and simple. Go to getdealsbytuesday.com and start your journey toward life-changing cash flow today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.